Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss on the numericals based on the unit power supply. In linear electronics, the second unit, that is power supply. In the board exam, the numericals based on power supply are mostly asked. These numericals are mostly based on the rectifiers and the Zener regulator. In this lecture, we are going to take some examples, some easy examples, and I will explain you how these numericals are solved using easy ways. Some formulas are explained there, how these formulas are arrived, and that is also explained here. Then some numericals based on Zener regulator, how Zener regulator can be explained or can be solved using some formulas. These formulas are also explained here. So let us see how these numericals are solved. See, in the problem, it is given that in a half wave rectifier, the secondary voltage is given to be 25 volt. They have been said to calculate the DC voltage and the load current for the load of 20 ohms. Now this is the half wave rectifier. When half wave rectifier is given and if the secondary voltage is given, this secondary voltage is said to be 25 volt. But this secondary voltage is the root mean square value. So for this we have to first convert it into the max value, and the formula is Vm, that is max value, equal to Vrms multiplied by root 2. So here Vm can be calculated by multiplying the root mean square value multiplied by root 2. Root mean square value is given to be 25. So we have to multiply it by root 2. So 25 multiplied by root 2, it will be 25 multiplied by 1.414, root 2 stands to be 1.414, and if you multiply it, the multiplication found to be 35.30. So this is now the maximum value. Let us take this, I will write it at the right hand side. So our max value is found to be 35.35 volts. Now second thing, here asked to calculate the VDC. Now for half wave rectifier, we know the formula for VDC. VDC equal to Vm by pi. So here Vm was found. Now we know value of pi. So it will be 35.35 divided by 3.14. It found to be 11.26 volt. So this is the value of VDC. So in this way we can calculate the VDC. Now next thing, they have been asked that what will be the load current for the load of 20 ohm resistance. 20 ohm resistance, this will be the value of load resistance. Let us see. This is our half wave rectifier. In half wave rectifier, the secondary voltage of transformer, it is given to a diode, and the diode's anode, it is connected to the load resistance. Load resistance is a representation of the resistance of the circuit which we are going to connect at the output of rectifier. So this load resistance is given to be 20 ohm, and the current through this load resistance will be the load current, that is IL. Here IL can be calculated directly as using Ohm's law, V upon R. Now what will be the voltage? Load resistance having the voltage after the rectification. So that is why the voltage across the load resistance will be the DC voltage. And DC voltage we have already calculated as VDC equal to voltage will be 11.26 divided by load resistance 20 ohms. So it is 0.563 amperes. So this is the value of load current, that is 0.563 amperes. So in this way, by using the data given in the numericals, we can find out the whatever we have been asked to solve here. So in this way, Vm, first of all, we have to convert it into maximum value. Whatever the voltage given at the secondary of the transformer, this value is root mean square value. We have to convert it into max value. Then after that, using the formula, we can find out the voltage, DC voltage. Then same DC voltage can be used to apply to find out the current through the load resistance. IL equal to, using Ohm's law, the same value can be found out. So this is, in this way we can solve the numerical based on half wave rectifier. In other examples, three things will be given and you have been said to calculate first. So in this way, using the same data, we can calculate it. Now this is another problem. Let us see. In a 2-diode rectifier, voltage across secondary is 12 volt. First thing. Now here 2-diode rectifier is written. It means that which kind of rectifier is this? Is it a half wave rectifier? No, because half wave rectifier uses only one diode. Is it bridge rectifier? No, because bridge rectifier uses 4 diodes. So remaining rectifier is the 2-diode rectifier, is the half wave full wave rectifier using center tap transformer. That means this rectifier is constructed using a center tap transformer. Let us see in the diagram. In 2-diode rectifier, that means in center tap transformer rectifier, the rectifiers, the transformer's secondary, it is divided into two same number of coils. So here this is the upper coil and this is the second lower coil. In lower coil, a tapping is there so that this will divide in equal part. So this will be the upper part and this will be the lower part. In the upper part, one of the half rectifier is connected and at the lower secondary another rectifier is connected and their anodes are taken common, and with the center tap terminal and the common terminals of anode, the load resistance is connected. That means the output is obtained across these two terminals. So here load resistance is connected. So this is the two half wave rectifiers. They are combined here to construct the full wave rectifier using center tap transformer. So in our problem, we have identified the rectifier, that this is the center tap transformer rectifier. Second thing given here, primary is connected to 230 volt AC mains with 50 Hz frequency. That means the primary, it is connected to 230 volt. That means the voltage at the primary is 230 volt and the frequency of this voltage is 50 Hz. So it is connected at the primary. Now what have been asked? Find the average DC voltage. That means we have to find out the DC voltage. Then we have to find out ripple frequency of the output. So frequency of output. So these two things has to be calculated. So let us see what they have given. 12. That means at the secondary of this transformer, this terminal will be 12 volt, this terminal will be 12 volt, and the middle terminal, that is the center terminal, it will be at 0 volt. Using this, we have to calculate the DC voltage. Now secondary voltage is directly given, but this voltage 12 volt, this is not the peak voltage or max voltage. So this voltage is root mean square value. So it is not stable. So that is why we have to convert it into the max value, because our digital multimeter or voltmeter, they only shows the max value, not the root mean square value. So for this, that can be converted into max value by multiplying it by root 2. So VRMS multiplied by root 2, that will give the max value. Root 2 is 1.414 multiplied by 12. So it found to be 16.9 968 volt. I have already multiplied it and I remember the number, so that is why it is 16.968 volt. So this is your max value. Now what second to calculate VDC? So to calculate VDC, first we have to know Vm. So only Vrms was given, so we have converted into max value, and this max value we have to put this value in the formula for VDC. In full wave rectifier, the DC voltage, it is always calculated by this formula, twice Vm by pi. So this is the formula for calculating the DC voltage in full wave rectifier. Vm already known, so it is 2 multiplied by 16,968 multiplied by 3.14. If you calculate it, it will be found to be 10.380. So this will be the value of DC voltage at the output. Now the last thing they have asked to find out the ripple frequency. The output of rectifier is like this. As it is a full wave rectifier, both the half cycles are rectifier and they are available at the output. In the input side, if you see the frequency or the cycle of input voltage, this frequency is given to be 50 Hz, in which for this period there are only one cycle. But here you can see this is one cycle and now this is second cycle. So there are two fluctuations in the same given time. So that is why the frequency at the input of this rectifier, if it is 50 Hz, then it is doubled at the output. So that is why here the frequency of output for the rectifier, full wave rectifier, it will be twice the frequency of input voltage. Now in the problem they have given that it is connected to 230 volt AC mains with the frequency of 50 Hz. So if 50 Hz is the frequency of input, then that will be doubled at the output. So frequency at the output will be 100 Hz. So it is twice as that of the input frequency. So in this way we can identify the rectifier, and then after drawing the diagram we will get the idea which formula has to be applied here. So in this way we can find out any answer of the numericals based on the rectifiers. The third example, let us read it. The turn ratio of transformer used in bridge rectifier is 10:1. It means that bridge rectifier is used and its transformer's turns ratio is 10:1. That means these are the number of turns at the primary and these are the number of turns at the secondary. You can see in the diagram, at the primary number of turns are more and at the secondary number of turns are less. If this transformer having this type of turns ratio, it means that this is the step down transformer. So here the number of turns at the primary they are denoted by N1, and let the number of turns at the secondaries are denoted by N2. And the transformation ratio given here is N1 upon N2 equal to N1 is 10 and N2 is 1. By using this, we can calculate the secondary voltage. By using the formula N1 upon N2 equal to V1 upon V2. So here N1 is given to be 10 and N2 is given to be 1. V1 is given to be 230 volt and V2 we have to calculate it. So by using this formula, V2 will be 230 volt by 10. So it will come to be 23 volt. So this is the secondary voltage appearing at the output of secondary of the transformer. Now this value is the root mean square value. V2 equal to 230 volt upon 10. So V2 was found to be 23 volt. And this value is the root mean square value. We have to convert it into max value for calculation purpose. So max value can be calculated like this: Vm equal to root 2 upon into the root mean square value. So So it will be 1.414 multiplied by 23. 32.522 volt. So this is the max value. Now this max value, it is appeared as an input voltage for the bridge rectifier. Now to calculate what they have said to calculate, assuming ideal diodes, calculate the output voltage. What is meant by ideal diode? Ideal diodes means whenever the diode is connected in forward bias mode, at that time this diode has to the voltage applied to the diode, that must be more than the 0.7 volt. It means that whenever the voltage will exceed more than 0.7 volt, then only the diode will start conducting. That means this 0.7 volt, this voltage is dropping across the depletion layer. So it means that the resistance of the depletion layer is opposing this much voltage, and this voltage will be dropped across it. So this diode has a resistance when it is forward bias. So when diode is forward bias, this resistance is called as forward resistance, and this resistance has some value, and due to which it will drop the 0.7 volt. But here in the example, it is given that the diodes are ideal. If the diodes are said to be ideal, then this resistance, whenever the diode is forward bias, it is assumed to be 0. So for ideal diodes, the forward resistance will be 0. Here it is actually meaningless. We can directly calculate the DC voltage. For calculating DC voltage, the formula is same for full wave rectifier and as well as for the full wave rectifier using center tap transformer and for the bridge wave rectifier. So VD is equal to twice Vm upon pi. Vm we have just calculated. So 2 multiplied by 32.522 multiplied by pi is 3.14 volt. And that will be found to be 20.68 voltage. This will be the DC voltage at the output, 20.68 voltage. Then further they have been asked to find out the peak inverse voltage rating of the diode. Now let us see what is meant by peak inverse voltage rating. When the diode is forward biased, this is the forward resistance. In the same way, if the diode is reverse biased, that means if the P type of the diode, it is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and N type is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, then we say that this diode is in the reverse bias mode. When the diode is reverse biased, all the voltage will appearing at the depletion layer. Now this voltage, if gradually increase, then there will be some point where the opposition offered by the depletion layer, when it is reverse bias, the depletion layer goes on narrowing itself or wider, and due to which the resistance of the junction, it will start increasing. So that resistance increasing will have some limit, and that limit is called as breakdown voltage. So that is the whenever the voltage is increased beyond the limit, then the junction of or the depletion layer will start conducting very fastly. So that voltage is called as the breakdown voltage. And if the breakdown is occurred, then though the diode is reverse biased, it will start conducting. But we don't need this. So the maximum permissible voltage to apply at the reverse bias, it has some limit, and that limit is called as breakdown voltage. So we have to apply that voltage below the breakdown voltage so that the diode will work properly in the reverse bias mode. So if this diode has some rating, like suppose 9 volt is the breakdown voltage, then we have to apply a reverse bias voltage less than 9 volt, not more than 9 volt. So this will be the maximum voltage that a diode can handle in the reverse bias mode, and that rating is called as peak inverse voltage rating. So here in this rectifier, the maximum voltage is 32.522 volt. So this much reverse voltage it is applied here. So diode with the value of breakdown voltage less than more than this should be used. So the peak inverse voltage rating for this diode should be equal to the max value. So because maximum value is 32.52, so this will be the peak inverse voltage rating of the diode. It means that the diode whose peak inverse voltage rating is 32.522 volt or more than that, that can be used here only. So that is the meaning of peak inverse voltage rating. In the center tap transformer, two rectifiers are simultaneously applied on the diode. So that in that rectifier, the peak inverse voltage rating also gets doubled here. So if the max value is like this for full wave rectifier using center tap transformer, then this should be double. So the value of diode with a peak inverse voltage rating nearly about 64 voltage, that can be used in the full wave rectifier using center tap transformer. But in the bridge wave rectifier, only max value is applied at the diode. So only one diode is reverse bias at one time. So maximum voltage, reverse voltage will be the max value. So that is why peak inverse voltage in bridge wave rectifier is same as that of the max value, and it is in the center tap transformer it will be get doubled. In half wave rectifier again it will be the same as that of the max value. So this is the significance of peak inverse voltage rating. So in this way we can find out the DC output voltage and peak inverse voltage rating. For solving any kind of problem, we have to imagine the diagram of the rectifier. In the given data, we first have to identify which kind of rectifier is asked in the example. So there are some sentence which will denote that which kind of rectifier is used here. Then second thing, what we have to do, we have to draw the diagram, circuit diagram for rectifier. Then put the values, then we can identify what data is given and what should be calculated. So in this way we can solve any problem based on the rectifiers. Now another numericals which are asked on the second unit of linear electronics, that is paper 1, that is the power supply, is the Zener regulator. Whenever any kind of Zener numerical is asked, this Zener regulator numericals can be solved only two formulas. First formula is we have to apply a KVL here. What the KVL is? It is V in equal to Vs plus Vz. See here, this is the applied voltage. It is distributed across the current limiting resistors. Then it is applied to the Zener diode. Here the Zener diode is connected in reverse bias mode. That means if you add this to voltage drop, it will be equal to this much. So this is the first formula. Second formula, if we are going to calculate the current through the resistance Rs, then we have to apply the Ohm's law. So for applying Ohm's law, we have to know about the voltage, and this voltage can be calculated using this. So the voltage across resistor is Vs, and that will be nothing but Vs equal to V in minus Vz. That means the input voltage minus Zener voltage. So this resistor, it is connected in between these two voltages. So if you subtract this two voltage, we will get the voltage across resistor. So this is the formula to calculate the voltage across resistor. Now what will be the current in the resistor? Let the current is Is, and that can be equal to Vs upon the resistor. Ohm's law is used here, V upon R. What is Vs? Vs is now V in minus Vz. So it will be equal to V in minus Vz upon Rs. So in this way we can calculate the current in the resistor. This is the one kind of formula we have to remember. Second formula, at this node you can see the resistor is connected, Zener diode is connected, and the load resistance is connected. Here at this node we have to apply the Kirchhoff's current law. What it say? Current entering to the node equal to sum of currents leaving to the node. Now this current Is, it is entering in the node. So Is is entering. So this will be taken at the left hand side. At this node you can see the current direction for Zener is like this. For load current, it is like this. So these two currents are coming out of the node. So that is why we have to add them. So this current, that means at the left hand side, sum of current entering is only a single current, that is Is, and these are the two currents which are leaving the node. So that is why Is equal to Iz plus IL. So these are the two currents which are leaving the node. So we have to take the sum. So sum at the left hand side is equal to sum at the right hand side. Right hand side currents are the current which are going out of the node, and at the left hand side currents which are entering the node. So this is nothing but the KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. So on the basis of these two formulas, we can solve any problem on the Zener regulator. Now let us take this example and let us solve this. What is in the problem? Calculate the Zener current and the load current. What they have said to calculate Iz and IL. We have to find out Zener current and load current. For the figure, so this was the figure given in the problem. Shown breakdown voltage for Zener diode is given to be 5 volt. That means the Zener voltage is 5 volt. Then load the series or current limiting resistance Rs is 1 kilo ohm. Then the load resistance is 1.2 kilo ohms. So and Zener voltage is 5 volt. Input voltage is given to be 20 volt. So this is the data which is given in this problem. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate the Zener current. Now what is Zener current? For Zener current or the KCL equation is equal to Is equal to Iz plus IL. We don't know Iz and we don't know IL. So for that we have to know Is, and Is can be calculated by the formula Is equal to Vin minus Vz upon Rs, and Vin is given to be 20 volt minus Vz is given to be 5 volt, and Rs value is given to be 1 kilo ohm. 1 kilo ohm, that is 1 into 10 to the power 3. That means 1000 ohms. So by solving this, we can get the answer. So it will be 15 upon 1 into 10 to the power minus 3. So S equal to 15 milliampere. Now this is the current Is. So we have known about Is. Now second thing, Iz or IL. It is more convenient to calculate IL because the voltage across resistance, load resistance can be calculated or assumed, because Zener diode and the load resistance, they are connected in parallel. So in parallel connection, the voltage are same. So if the 5 volt is appearing here, the same voltage will appear here. So voltage across the load resistance will be 5 volt. Second thing, load resistance value is given to be 1.2 kilo ohms. That means the resistance is known and the voltage is known. So by using this, IL can be calculated as V by R, simple Ohm's law. V is 5 volt and resistance is 1.2 kilo ohms. That means 10 to the power 3. So it will be 5 upon 12 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 4. So this will be the IL. So if you calculate it, it will be 4.166 milliampere. Now in this equation, Is is known now and IL is known now. What will be then Iz? So Iz equal to Is minus IL. So it will be Is is 15 milliampere minus IL is 4.166. So it will be equal to 10.834 milliampere. Right? So here we have only used two formulas, KCL equation and the KVL equation, knowing this Is. So in this way, any kind of Zener diode numerical can be solved using only these two formulas. Or how formulas are created, that have been just explained like this. So if you know the diagram properly, you can apply the formulas and find out the answer. So this is how we can solve any problem on Zener regulator.